Dr. Troy here. I want to talk to you about Jim McMahon and the 1985 Chicago Bears football team. They said to be one of the greatest football teams on the planet of all time. And, you know, I used to watch them as a kid. The Fridge, those guys were amazing. Mike Ditka, amazing stuff. But as you know, a lot of football players take injuries, they take hits. And so what happens internally to the structure of the body? So one of the big things that happens is you have this 12-pound thing called a skull that sits on this 6-ounce vertebra called the atlas. And this thing has 6 vectors, so it can rotate, it can shift up and down, and it can go lateral. And when that happens, it can compress the spinal cord. Now on the video here, we have an MRI of actually Jim's spine showing where there's restriction or compression on the spinal cord, which is pretty amazing. And you're going to have some neurological issues. And with him, they diagnosed him, the medics diagnosed him with dementia. He had trouble speaking. He had vision issues and a whole other slew of different conditions. And so what did he do? You know, you can go down the medical route and use the drugs, maybe surgery, but he chose to use chiropractic, and specifically he used upper cervical chiropractic. And there's different types of upper cervical chiropractic. There's NUCA, there's orthospinology, there's hole-in-one, but they're all based on the same premise that if the atlas misaligns, it's going to interfere with the flow of cerebral spinal fluid up into your brain and down into your cord, which is basically the fuel for your nerve system. And so with taking all those hits, no doubt that atlas was misaligned. Jim actually got an adjustment with an upper cervical adjusting instrument similar to this one. This is an activator. We also, in our office, we use hand adjustments to correct the upper cervical, and it's very light force. The upper cervical responds to light force. There's no cracking. It's a light, gentle torque, and some people feel like they don't even get adjusted. Nothing moved. And that's the magic of it. That's the beauty of this technology. So you can see his before and after MRI of his brain where the fluid is actually reduced. And Jim actually said on video that it felt like somebody flushed the toilet bowl in his head. Imagine having the fluid not being able to drain out of your brain and the amount of pressure that's being put on your brain and neurological structures and what that can create. So pretty amazing story on upper cervical, correcting the atlas misalignment. Very simple procedure to do, but you have to be highly skilled and trained. And that's one of the things we do at Zenaptic is we analyze the full spine and very specifically the upper cervical, skull, atlas, and second bone of the neck combination. So this is Dr. Troy. Pretty amazing testimonial for Jim McMahon, and kudos to chiropractic.